They were eating lunch when one of the employees entered hastily. He went toward the woman and murmured near her ear. The woman rose suddenly, and her husband and brother looked at her. Her husband asked, "Has something happened?" "Today, I sent some of the employees to hunt a fawn for tonight's banquet," she replied. Her brother flung his napkin down and said indignantly, "Nobody has the right to hunt any deer on my land." The woman's husband, still eating his lunch, said placidly, "Did the servant come hastily to tell you a fawn has been hunted?" "No," she replied. "He said a woman has been struck instead." The woman went to the door, and the men looked at each other before following her quickly. The injured girl was brought into the house. The man looked at her and cried, "Take her upstairs," then said to another employee, "Bring my car to the door." "Where do you want to go?" his sister questioned. "To bring the doctor," the man replied. Several minutes later, the doctor came by the girl's bedside and examined her. "She must be transferred to the hospital," he said. "We can't, doctor," the woman responded. "Why not?" the doctor asked. "I will tell you, doctor, if you come with me," the woman's husband said. The doctor and the woman's husband went into an empty room, and he explained, "We want to sell my brother-in-law's land. If she dies, we can't sell it. That man is stubborn and has been waiting for a pretext not to sell his land. I will pay you twice what you ask for." The doctor remained silent for a few minutes, then said, "Okay, but I won't take any responsibility." "No problem," the man said. Downstairs, the employees queued up in the kitchen. The man stood watching them, then began to speak. "Who shot the girl?" One of the men, trembling, said, "I did, sir, but I swear I shot a fawn." There was nobody except the fawn. The man's sister, who was watching them, stepped up and said, "What was she doing on our land?" Then added, "My dear brother, you should inquire of the girl, not these poor workers." She then faced the employees and said, "Get back to your duties." On the third day, the doctor, while examining the girl, accidentally noticed something strange. Turning his head, he said to the woman and her brother, "I want to talk to you in private." The man said, "We can talk in the library," and all three left the room. "Doctor, what was the important subject you wanted to talk about?" the woman asked. "I have had many patients, but none like her," the doctor said. "What do you mean, doctor?" the woman questioned. "Her pulse. It doesn't beat like an ordinary patient's," the doctor said. "Doctor, maybe it's because she's still faint," the woman suggested, as her brother silently listened to the conversation. Then the woman said, "I thought there was something important you wanted to say." As she went to the door, she added, "See you tomorrow, doctor." The doctor didn't continue and said, "Yes, until tomorrow." A few days later, the sun's rays gently woke the girl. She opened her eyes, looked around, then got up and went near the window. She was standing close to it when she suddenly saw something. She left her room and slowly made her way outside. The man, his sister, and her husband were in the living room when the man noticed the girl leaving. He rose and followed her. The girl hurried to the bush, where a deer and a fawn ran toward her. "Why did you come here? Someone might see you," the girl said. "I wanted to thank you for saving my child's life and to tell you," the deer started. But the fawn interrupted. "The proud man is getting close to us, Mom. Run, run!" The girl turned to the man and pretended to faint. The proud man ran to her, cuddled her, and took her into the house. "What happened? What was she doing out? How did she get out?" his sister asked. "Nothing has happened. She's just weak," the man said, and went upstairs. The woman's husband came near his wife and said, "She will be troublesome for us. As long as she remains here, we can't fulfill our plan. We must get rid of her. The woman looked at him and said, "You're right." The man laid the girl on the bed. She opened her eyes and gazed into the man's eyes. The man said, "You are not strong enough to leave your bed. Now close your eyes and rest." He went to the door, turned to the girl and said, "I sent some employees to find your parents, but they couldn't. Tomorrow, give me your parents' address. They are probably very worried." "I have nobody," the girl said. The man was silent for a moment, then said, "Rest," and left the room. Several days passed. At night, as the girl lay on her bed whispering a song, she heard a rustle. She came near the window. It was the deer and the fawn. She sneaked out of the house and ran to them. The deer said, "There is something I have to tell you." But before she could finish, an angel appeared. "I have a message for you," the angel said to the girl. "What is it?" the girl asked, her voice trembling. "You must leave that house immediately," the angel insisted urgently. "I can't leave him now," the girl replied softly, her gaze fixed on the lonely man's house. "No, I want to stay. He's so alone." "Do you want to disobey the command?" "No, I don't. But why must I leave him?" the girl pleaded. "The man's sister and her husband want to kill him. You won't be safe here. You must go. Take the deer somewhere else," the angel explained, gently placing a reassuring hand on the girl's arm. "He will never openly speak of his love for you." With that, the girl, the fawn, and the deer fled into the dense bushes, disappearing from sight. The following morning, a frantic maid rushed to the man and gasped, "Master, she's not in her room!" "What do you mean?" The man's voice trembled as he dashed upstairs. The girl was nowhere to be found. "Summon all the workers! We must find her!" he commanded urgently, before hurrying back downstairs. Throughout the day they searched every corner, but there was no trace of her. Weeks passed, and the man's health declined rapidly. One day, as he walked through the garden with his sister and her husband, the gardener approached with a grave expression. "Sir, the villagers have found a woman in the woods." "Take me there," the man demanded, his voice weak yet determined. He and the gardener departed, leaving the woman's husband to exchange a knowing glance with his wife. "It's time we leave this place for a while," he murmured. Arriving at the site, the gardener pointed out the woman. "Sir, she's over there." The man hurried forward, his heart pounding with hope and fear. She was covered in mud, her face barely recognizable. Gently, he wiped the dirt from her face. "No, it's not her," he whispered, his voice breaking. The man grew weaker with each passing day. Meanwhile, the girl had found a secluded, safe haven for the deer and fawns. "Here you'll be protected. There are no hunters," she assured them with a tender smile. As she wandered the peaceful surroundings, a young fawn approached her timidly. "I must tell you something about the proud man," it began hesitantly. "Tell me, what is it?" the girl encouraged, kneeling down to listen. "One day, hidden in the bushes, I overheard a conversation," the fawn continued. "A conversation?" The girl's eyes widened with concern. "Yes," the fawn nodded solemnly. "The man's sister and her husband devised a sinister plan to kill him." "Why would they do such a thing?" The girl's voice was filled with disbelief. "To inherit his lands," the fawn explained sadly. What exactly was their plan? The girl pressed, her heart sinking. "They spoke of spreading a contagious disease and finding someone to infect him," the fawn revealed, its voice trembling. "Why didn't you tell me this sooner?" the girl exclaimed, her mind racing with worry and determination. Without hesitation, she rushed back to the man's house. Concealing herself behind a tree, she watched in horror as the servants carried his lifeless body out of the house. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked up at the sky, whispering softly, "All I wanted to be a real human to live with him." Silently, she followed the procession to the man's final resting place. Now she knew where the kind man was laid to rest. Every night she visited his grave, seeking solace in the quiet solitude. One fateful night, as she crossed the road, tragedy struck. A speeding car collided with her frail body, leaving her broken and bleeding. The driver, startled and guilt-ridden, fled the scene without a backward glance. "I must reach his grave," she murmured through pain, dragging herself towards the only place that offered her solace. The next morning, villagers were shocked to find a woman lying motionless beside the man's grave, her face serene as if she had finally found peace.